Hello everyone, welcome back to my GH Spoiler channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Willow sentenced to 10 years. Port Charles will never be the same. Thursday's episode of General Hospital delivered a gut punch so brutal, so devastating, that fans across the country were left staring at their screens in complete and utter disbelief. After weeks of agonizing courtroom drama, mounting evidence, and tearful testimony, the moment Port Charles had been dreading finally arrived. Judge Marlo Tate Corinthos looked Willow directly in the eyes and pronounced a sentence of 10 years in state prison. The gavel fell, the courtroom erupted, and nothing will ever be the same. The episode opened deceptively quietly, almost cruelly so. Willow was shown at home in the Corinthos mansion, dressed in a simple navy blouse, clasping the locket Michael gave her on their anniversary, while Nina stood in the doorway, mascara already threatening to run. "Whatever happens today," Nina whispered, her voice cracking like glass, "you are not alone." Fans who have watched Nina and Willow's relationship evolve from open hostility to this fragile, devastating tenderness were already reaching for tissues before the opening credits had even finished rolling. The courtroom scenes were nothing short of cinematic. Head writer Brenda Donnelly and her team clearly saved every ounce of dramatic ammunition for this singular, shattering hour. District Attorney Hartwell laid out the prosecution's closing argument with cold, surgical precision, painting Willow not as the compassionate nurse and devoted mother the defense presented, but as someone who had knowingly concealed information that led directly to the death of Port Charles businessman Roland Ashby. The charge, accessory after the fact and obstruction of justice. 10 counts. And the jury had found her guilty on 6. Michael Corinthos, played with absolute heartbreak by the show's longtime leading man, sat in the gallery gripping his mother Carly's hand so hard his knuckles went white. When the verdict was read aloud, the camera held on his face for a long, unbearable moment. No tears, just a man watching his entire world collapse in slow motion, unable to do a single thing to stop it. It was quiet, devastating acting that reminded us exactly why General Hospital continues to dominate daytime television decades into its run. But the most emotionally devastating scene of the entire episode, of perhaps the entire season, came not in the courtroom, but in the hallway directly outside it. As bailiffs prepared to take Willow into custody, she was given exactly 90 seconds with her children. Little Wiley, now 7, did not fully understand what was happening. He hugged his mother's waist and told her, completely unprompted, that he had saved her a cupcake from school. "The blue one," he said proudly, "because blue is your favorite." Willow buried her face in her hair and held her for every one of those 90 seconds. Even the bailiff looked away. Amelia, the couple's youngest, was held by Carly and simply cried. That pure, uncomprehending grief that only very young children produce, the kind that wrecks every adult in the room. Willow kissed her daughter's forehead 4 times. Then she straightened up, smoothed her blouse, squared her jaw, and walked forward. The camera followed her from behind, down that long, echoing courthouse hallway until the heavy door closed behind her and the screen cut to black. The silence that followed lasted exactly 4 seconds. It felt like 4 years. Back in Port Charles, the fallout was immediate. Sonny Corinthos, who has never been a man known for restraint, threw a glass of scotch against the wall of his penthouse and told Jason Morgan in no untermed terms that the system failed her and somebody is going to answer for that. Ominous, significant, and almost certainly a thread the show intends to pull hard in the weeks ahead. If Sonny Corinthos decides that justice was not served on Thursday, Port Charles had better brace itself. Meanwhile, the hospital scenes offered no comfort. Elizabeth Baldwin sat in an empty break room with Willow's stethoscope, the one she'd left in her locker, and simply held it. No dialogue, no dramatic music swell, just a woman sitting with an object that belonged to her friend, who was now gone. Dr. Finn walked in, saw her, and quietly sat down beside her without a word. 2 minutes of near silence that said more about grief and friendship than most shows manage in an entire season. The episode closed on a final haunting image, Willow's empty chair at the Corinthos dining table, a single blue cupcake placed carefully at her setting, left there by Wiley, who told his father he was saving it for when Mommy came home. "The blue one," he said proudly, "because blue is your favorite." Michael stared at that cupcake for a long moment. Then he covered it gently with a napkin, sat down at the head of the table, and folded his hands. A man beginning the long, grinding work of keeping a family whole in the absence of its heart. Thursday's episode of General Hospital was not just great soap opera, it was genuine, aching, beautifully crafted television drama. The performances were immaculate, the writing was sharp and emotionally precise, and the ending left fans with one burning, desperate question that will fuel water cooler conversations all weekend long. Is this really the end for Willow, or is Sonny Corinthos about to change everything? Tune in Friday. Do not miss a single second. Port Charles is only getting started.